All right, my name is Steve Murray. I'm the heating division manager here at CPI Plumbing and Heating. I'm also a licensed journeyman plumber. I have been an apprenticeship instructor for the last 20 years. So there's the reason that a high schooler should look at apprenticeship. Today, with the cost of education being what it is, a career in the trades is really a valuable economic opportunity for anyone coming into the career world. I think most kids are somewhat programmed to want to go to college when they come out of high school, which is fine for some kids, but not every kid that's coming out wants to continue to pursue education in that format. And looking at the trades as an opportunity to that is really a way to get entry-level skills and establish yourself in a long-term career. I mean, a career that will pay a very good wage when you finally complete your apprenticeship, and also you're not taking on that huge debt of a college education. So that's really the reason. Most apprenticeships will pay for the training and the education. Your wage level starting out as an apprentice might not be, it's certainly not top of the scale by any stretch, because the employer is taking on the responsibility of paying for that education, but you're learning a skill that will last you the rest of your life. And looking at jobs in particular, a lot of jobs are going to come and go over time, but really a career in the trades, people are always going to have plumbing systems or heating systems that need to be installed or need to be repaired or renovated, and that's never going to change. So someone going into that trade is learning something that they will be able to do indefinitely for the rest of their lives until they decide they're ready to retire. I've been in this now for 35 years and have yet to collect an unemployment check. So, when you look at that in terms of jobs coming and going, and you hear about companies downsizing and things like that, a lot of other jobs can go away, but guys in the trades are going to always have work. Somebody just coming into the construction trades, their entry-level wages are probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $12, $13, $14 an hour. The downside of that is it's not a high wage, it's kind of an entry-level wage, but there's not too many jobs where your growth is so steep, because somebody can go from making $12 or $13 an hour in their original entry-level wage to 5 years later working and making somewhere in the neighborhood of $65,000 to $85,000 a year, and even more than that. I mean, as you develop more skills, you take on more challenges, and you learn more things. Guys in the trades today are able to make salaries that are in the range of $100,000 to $140,000, $150,000 a year, which is a very good wage. And coupled with the fact that you get similar benefits to any other job that's out there. Most employers are paid medical, dental, vision, 401k plan, paid holidays, paid vacation, those kinds of things. That's it's a very good living. They vary. I mean, someone starting out, their early days are going to be, learning what the materials are, learning what the tools are, learning how to work safely in a construction environment, because it can be, a dangerous place. You're, working with a lot of different tools that can hurt you if you don't respect them and things like that. So there's a learning curve there. As your skills grow, as you get used to working with the tools and working around those environments, most journeymen will establish a working rapport and be able to give an apprentice more more responsibility and more skills. You're going to learn how to, fit pipe, how to solder pipe, how waste and vent systems are put together to safely dispose of, human waste and bring fresh potable drinking water into a home or business. So those are things that take a long time to learn, but they're valuable skills and something that learning on the job, almost anybody with any reasonable mechanical aptitude should be able to grasp and handle. You don't have to have specific knowledge to apply for an apprenticeship. Having some skills, in your past, whether it's hobbies like working on your car or doing home repairs or things like that, is helpful. But generally, most employers are just looking for somebody with a great attitude, a really solid hard work ethic, and the willingness to learn and apply yourself. Because not all the learning can take place, in regular work hours. Most of the guys in the trade spend evenings either going to class or, researching a new product or a new way of doing things. So it's a difficult amount of learning curve in the first several years of your apprenticeship, but it's well worth it.
On average.
A plumbing apprenticeship, the length of an apprenticeship is relative to the skill. The plumbing apprenticeship in this state is a 10,000 hour program. So that's roughly a 5-year apprenticeship. Now you can graduate in 8,000 hours and get your journeyman license. But just like a doctor or a lawyer, you may graduate from college and then graduate from law school or medical school. You're probably then going to go do some kind of a residency or an internship that takes more time. It takes somebody in the trades a good 8-10 years till they get really good at their craft and maybe even specialize in certain things that are within the trades that they might want to do. Starting out, most apprentices work a regular work week, 7 to 3:30, 8 to 5, that kind of thing. Depending on the type of work you're doing, whether it's service work or installation work, that might change things a little bit. Service work tends to be more on-demand type work. Sometimes you might, if you've got to get somebody's hot water back on, you might be working there until 6 or 7 o'clock at night, because we don't want to leave our customers without heat or hot water. But generally speaking, they're normal work hours. As you get more trained, that might continue later on in life. It might continue where you're working later hours and maybe in an on-call rotation later on as you get more training. So generally speaking, yes, they'll be working Monday through Friday, yes. I would say that there are things that you can do that are after hours or on weekends. Certainly from a training perspective, there are training classes that take place in the evening and take place on weekends that almost every apprentice will have to go to at one time or another, and that's a fairly common thing. But work-wise, on the job, until you're really capable of working independently, you're probably not going to be working outside of regular business hours. A person would get into an apprenticeship by applying through a program. We here at CPI hire trainees, and if we decide we want to establish them as a quote-unquote apprentice, that's a little bit of a different process. There are apprenticeships that are state approved. I actually teach for one of those apprenticeships down in Marysville. So it's an application process, very much like filling out, a job application, and you have to meet certain qualifications, basic, high school education, basic, physical capabilities. You have to be able to lift, 50 pounds and things like that. And then you have to be hireable. Most employers want to interview apprentices themselves before they actually take them on. But it's a very standard, application process. There are knowledge tests all the way through any apprenticeship. Most apprenticeship programs have tests that take place, sometimes weekly, maybe a weekly quiz. Sometimes it's a quarterly type exam, very similar to a college program. The one difference might be that in an apprenticeship, some of that testing is going to be hands-on, task-oriented type testing. It's not all just bookwork type testing. There is some of that for sure, but having a grounded education in basic math, geometry, those kinds of things are going to help you. Communication skills, those things are certain things that you get tested on that are what I would consider traditional type education.